It's not your journey to take. It's not your journey to take. It's not your journey to take. Let's learn. Let's learn.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Not Your Journey to Take, Early Morning Sip and Chat. My name is Keisha Mason Campbell. I'm the author of Not Your Journey to Take, and I teach women that no is the complete sentence, and I show them how to establish healthy boundaries with families while putting their needs first. So I want to welcome you again to Not Your Journey to Take, Early Morning Sip and Chat. It is Saturday morning, so we're going to hop right in. So we just want to recap. Last week, we talked about setting boundaries as a couple of our goals. So we talked about setting boundaries as a couple of our goals. So you were supposed to, in your list of goals for 2023, you were supposed to add a couple boundaries in there. So as you had your list of everything that you wanted to do, everything that you wanted to accomplish, everything you want to see come to pass, you were supposed to add a couple goals in there, add a couple of boundaries in there. So as you add a couple of boundaries in there, this week right here, you were supposed to test some of those boundaries. Test them. And we said test because you may not be able to implement those boundaries if you're not comfortable, if you're not ready. So you need to test the waters. So some of those boundaries you needed to test the waters with, not with everybody, but just test the waters with those boundaries. Because now you need to see what your capacity is, what you can handle, what you can do, and what you can do on your own. And when you can't do it on your own, that's when I come in to help you. I help you to learn that no is a complete sentence. I help you to establish healthy boundaries with families, all while putting your needs first. But for you, in order to know that you need some help, sometimes we don't know what we need until we need it, and somebody shows us that we need it, right? With that being said, I asked you to test it a little bit. Test some of the boundaries that you set and see how did that go over. So in the comments, whether you're watching the live or the replay, share with me. When you were testing those boundaries, how did it go? How did it make you feel? And if you're feeling really bold, share with me the boundary and the relationship to the person who you were setting that boundary with, and how did that go over? How did that work out for you? How do you feel about that? And the reason I ask, if you're not sure how you feel about it, or if you're feeling if you're feeling some type of way about it, right? So you're not feeling really comfortable, it may be a little harder for you to implement your boundaries on an ongoing basis. And listen, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. We can set boundaries as goals. We can test those waters with those boundaries. And we may not be able to implement those boundaries with everybody. And you may not have to implement them with everybody. But you do need to know what your capacity is. You do need to know what can you handle. You need to know when you need to put yourself first, when you need to say no. We'll go back to that great example that we've been using for 2 weeks. If you've ever been on an airplane, if you've ever watched a movie where an airplane was there, they always tell you, the flight attendant always tell you, when the cabin loses pressure, the oxygen mask will fall. When the oxygen mask fall, your responsibility is to put yours on first and then help others. Same premise in life. Same premise in life. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help people if you haven't helped yourself. And if you do, you'll be doing it on fumes. That's not going to last long. Just like driving a car. You drive a car on E, how much further do you think you can go when it gets to E or get below E? Or if you got the digital cars and it's telling you that you got, 20 miles to empty. So, something along those lines. You'll be able to ride for a minute, but not for a really long time. And when it's over, it's over. Then you have to call somebody to tow your car or get a gas can and try to put gas in your car. Then you got all these other elements that's happening that you hadn't even planned for. You got all these other elements that's now happening. You got to call AAA or whatever service you have to say, I ran out of gas. They got to go get some gas. They got to bring you some gas. And depending on your car, there's some special stuff they got to do to put the gas in the car. Like, all the things are happening. And that creates a domino effect. And now you're impacted in other ways. So you can't drive a car without gas or electric, because we got electric cars now. You can't drive a car without that fuel, whether it be electric, whether it be gas. If you're on an airplane, cabin loses air pressure, oxygen masks fall, put yours on first, because you have to take care of you first, and then you can help others. And then you'll be pouring from a full cup. You'll be pouring from a space of love and kindness. You'll be pouring into people because you want to and you can, not because you have to, you're required to, or you think that you're obligated to. Although you're performing the same action, it's how you perform that action and where it's coming from. If I'm doing it out of obligation, or I feel like I'm required to do it, I may not do it the same as when I would do it out of love and out of kindness. If I do it out of love and out of kindness, I'll want to do it, right? I will enjoy doing it. And I will be more willing to help you with something else. If I'm doing it because I'm obligated, I'm required, I'm going to do that action and I'm going to be done. And no, I'm not going to want to do anything else. So pouring from a full cup is a great thing. Take care of you first. Take care of you first. So I'm hoping to see some of your comments to let me know that you have tested your boundaries this week. At least one boundary that you've tested. And let me know, how did that work out for you? What happened? What was the response from your loved one? How did you feel about it? It's not easy to say no. I know it's 2 letters, 1 word. It's an entire sentence. It is not easy to say no. Not when you're always saying yes and okay and I will and I'll take care of it. When you're always saying those words, it's not easy to say no. But self-care is super important. And you have to take care of you first. You have to take care of you first. Okay? So I just wanted to hop on. This is Saturday, so we're approaching the end of the week. So I'm hoping that everyone has had a chance to implement at least one of those boundaries, or test at least one of those boundaries. And then next week, we can begin testing and then begin implementing some of those boundaries. And we can work on that together. And you can share with me, how is it working for you? How are you feeling about it? And then that way you can learn how to say no and be okay. Not feel guilty, not feel convicted like, oh, I should have did it, I could have did it, I would do it. Let me go back and say I will. No. No is a complete sentence. Stick to your no. Learn how to put you first. Okay? Establish healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries. I'm not saying put up a wall, right? I'm not saying close a door. I'm not saying those things. Boundaries. Boundaries can be modified. Boundaries are for you, to take care of you and protect you. But it also protects the other person too. And then somewhere along the lines, they'll learn how to do that themselves. They will learn how to do that themselves. So I won't keep you on long. I want to thank you for joining me live. It's early Saturday morning. I wanted to know that you guys have tested some of your boundaries. I would love to know, how did that go? What were some of the responses? And how did you feel about it? And if you're feeling really bold, tell me what was the boundary that you set and the relationship to the person, or the relationship to you, the person that you set that boundary with, and how did that go over? How did you feel? And will you do it again? Will you do it again? Healthy boundaries are great. Healthy boundaries are great. And they will set you up for success, because you will learn how to take care of you first. You will learn how to put you first. You'll learn that no is a complete sentence. And those healthy boundaries will help you to just move along. Move along and make better decisions, other decisions, putting you first decisions. But putting you first doesn't mean you won't take care of everybody else, that you won't give to anybody else, and that you won't be there. You will still do all the things. The only exception is you putting you first. That's all. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Have a great Saturday. Let's have a super fantastic Saturday on purpose. Have a super fantastic Saturday on purpose. So I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Keisha Mason Campbell. I am the author of Not Your Journey to Take. I teach women that no is a complete sentence, and I show them how to establish healthy boundaries with families while putting their needs first. Have a super fantastic Saturday, and I will see you soon. Goodbye. Thank you for watching the latest Not Your Journey to Take video. I hope that each of you will be having a super fantastic day, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share.